This is now the time to get up, speak to those problems, come up with policies, come up with laws, identify how we can conquer, and then move forward from there.
Already erosions have claimed coastal communities such as Idotun village and the Igbejuleki, sweeping away homes, displacing families and destroying livelihoods. The Lagos shoreline has also been threatened for decades, worsened by climate change and human activities. Officials warn the illegal dredging is left unchecked could undermine waterfront settlements and escalate flooding risk. To tackle these challenges, the state government has partnered with Netherlands, a global leader in water coastal management, to find innovative and sustainable solutions. Beyond addressing these threats, the government says the lagoon holds enormous potential for transportation, tourism, fisheries and trade, if properly managed.
We have invited representatives from all of those areas, particularly the royal fathers and the heads of communities. We've invited them. They will be coming as the representatives of those areas so that they can also tell us what they're experiencing. There's going to be data collation amongst other things. And it's only when you have data you would know how to use it and how to speak to the problems.
For the state government, safeguarding the lagoon is not just about protecting the environment, but also securing the economy and heritage of Lagos. I am Onyeka Ogolo, reporting for VOP TV.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
In a world where truth is the ultimate power and opinions scream the loudest, it's time to wade through the noise.
Hunger no get tribe! Hunger no get religion!
And scan the human interest and trending topics that matter. Stay tuned to The Issues, your plug to the stories making the buzz, from politics to science and technology, social justice, and more. Let's tackle the tough questions and expose the truth. The Issues, on Voice of the People television, Mondays to Fridays, 8 to 9 p.m. The Issues. Don't just react, understand. From the views on the street,
we go to bed empty hunger,
to the blaring horns of a hustling city, the loudest voices of the common man got a medium to be heard.
This particular administration, they were coming unprepared.
It's not a bad thing to renovate the president's lodge.
Through top-notch programming, unbiased reportage of news, sports, business, entertainment, and cultural documentaries, Voice of the People 90.3 FM became a symbol for 21st century media. And now, a new baby is born. Voice of the People television, VOP TV, youthful, full of vigor and penchant for excellence in the continent's media space, exposing the wrongs, applauding the rights, dissecting the news without fear or favor, through factual and accurate stories and contents.
Corruption kills three things that makes a society.
Representing the interests of the people and giving them a voice. Voice of the People TV is here to stay towards building a fair society. VOP TV, Voice of the People television, truly a voice for the people.
Hey guys, what's up? How you all doing? They call me.
A very good evening to you and welcome to another exciting episode of the Issues and Voice of the People television, where we bring you the most important and pressing issues shaping our nation today. I am your host, Nenna Ndomdioto, and of course, I know you would say, thank God it's Friday. But anyways, today on the Issues, examining the complexities of Nigeria's politics and governance. From Bwala claiming tracking bandits with technology is difficult, to Peter Obi condemning distribution of campaign vehicles by federal government. Also, Rivers State Speaker and other lawmakers, 16 other lawmakers, I beg your pardon, defect from PDP to APC. Join us as we break down the facts and provide context to help you stay informed. We'll take a break now, and when we return, we'll, of course, dig deeper into these topics. Don't go away. Glad to have you back. Let's dive straight into today's discussion. The presidency says Nigeria continues to face major challenges in using technology to track and neutralize bandits across the country. Special advisor to President Bola Tinubu on policy communication, Daniel Bwala, who disclosed this during an interview, explained that while security agencies can trace Nigerians using local social media platforms, tracking criminals who rely on services outside the country is more complicated. Nigeria has faced a surge in insecurity, with banditry, terrorism, and kidnappings increasingly affecting communities, and of course, particularly in the northwest and northeast. Meanwhile, Katsina State Governor Diko Rada says the state's peace pact with repentant bandits is already yielding results. Commending the communities for entering the peace deals, he revealed that attacks have dropped significantly in areas previously plagued by violence. Governor Rada also noted the financial impact of the peace initiative on the state's resources. Today, I'm delighted to be joined by two distinguished guests. Here in the studio, we have Elvis Elimihele, a political and public affairs analyst. Glad to have you join us.
Good evening.
I saw you nodding your head like you wanted to make mistake with my name.
Gradually.
Yes, I am. Yes, I'm getting used to it. Glad to have you join us tonight. Joining us virtually is Lekia Christian. He is a public affairs analyst, a social justice crusader, and the president, Niger Delta Coalition Against Violence. We get to have him join us later on in the show. Bwala's statement about us not being able to track or the ability to track, these terrorists is not. It's difficult. What do you think about it?
Well, it is just because we've not done what we are supposed to do. Then Nigeria is big and Nigeria is rich enough, and Nigeria being its location within West Africa and Africa, ought to know that there are some certain things we are not supposed to joke with. Why is it that our satellites are not functioning? We're told sometimes that we have about 4. And we're told now that NigerSat 1 and 2 are still working. What's the function of those ones? If Daniel Bwala is telling us that, we cannot monitor, or Nigerian security system cannot actually fish out these terrorists in the forest because of a network or whatever he's talking about, why don't we use a more advanced technology that will be able to at least picture them where they are? This one will also help the Nigeria Air Force to actually launch precise operations against these people. That's what I by now, I think, since this insurgency started 16 years now, we've been in this matter. One would have expected that by now, Nigeria would have developed so much sophisticated technology that will be able to thwart whatever the terrorists are bringing on board and be able to handle them and nip them. So, but since we are paying lip service to whatever we have been talking about, insurgency, terrorism, and all that in Nigeria. That's why you see somebody, a spokesperson of the president, will come and use this as an excuse for a nation that is sophisticatedly rich, a nation that knows that they is wallowing in the debris of terrorism over the years. So what has the government what attempts have they made to put in place at least one or two things that will be able to help Nigerians to actually live free life, if really they have been telling Nigerians that they are fighting this insurgency, with their true hearts?
Okay, while you were talking, one of the just reminded me of one of the things that the ex-CDS said. Yes. While he was being screened, he also talked about
fencing of the borders.
Yes, and then he also talked about fencing of the borders. Yes. That's what he talked about during his conference, while during the time the presidency, when he went to meet the president and all of that. But while he was being screened, one of the things he said was that the need for technology. We really talked about the need for technology. And then when you now hear an aide or a presidential aide coming out to tell us that
these are flimsy excuses. Nigeria will not buy this, because the CDS has been a theater commander before he was made CDS, now the Minister for Defense. He has seen it all. And he has even advised Nigeria and said, look at countries of the world, as sophisticated as US, they still fence their boundary between America and Mexico. It's not that US cannot even use technology alone to drive, whatever crime that is, trying to spill in from the border of Mexico into America. But they still believe that let us also do this. He has told Nigerians that Pakistan fence the border between them and Afghanistan. Afghanistan has been a very notorious country, but they know that the only way we can have peace is to do this. Why have we not invested in some of these things over the years? Now we are now coming to give very cheap excuses why Nigerians must remain an insecure state, why Nigerians must every day live with their hearts in their mouth because of insecurity. Daniel Bwala should not even bring this in. It demeans the way Nigerian government is being looked at the Committee of Nations, especially in Africa. We're supposed to be a big brother that live by example and show example to others. Mm-hmm. Why are we talking as if we are a wretched state? But when it comes to what to use to service themselves, Nigeria can easily afford it. But when it comes to servicing the people who brought them into power, tell you that, we are working on it, or we have not been able to afford it. We will not buy this. If this terrorist, this miscreant, can come and do video and post, and we see videos from them, and Nigeria government don't have the facility, don't have the technology to track that video and know where they are domiciled within Nigeria. It's not as if these people are outside this nation. They are within Nigeria, and somebody is telling us that, we don't have, because of the type of platform they use in sending out their video. That's why we cannot track them. Is that platform they use, is it not created in this world? Did it come from somewhere else? Is it, at least, the people that created that platform, can't we also tell them, okay, these people are using your platform to terrorize us? How do we also find a way to track them? Do you think that the creator of those platforms are happy that insurgency has taken over Nigeria, or terrorism has taken? Nobody, there's no part of the world that celebrates terrorism. So I don't think if Nigerians have actually done the due diligence to actually say, okay, let us reach out to the communication they are using, that these people will not cooperate with them, and tell them, okay, we will be of assistance in whatever form.
Okay, I have, something about you. I have some other questions, of course, definitely to follow up on that. But let's get to our virtual guest. Glad to have you join us.
Good to be with you once more.
Yeah, okay, so we're talking about Bwala's statement that technology is proving difficult. It's being difficult for us to be able to track these criminals as a country. But would you really say that this challenge, is it really technological, or is it a failure of political will and investment over the years?
Well, that's an interesting issue that will always command the attention of our people. One very critical factor in all of this is that the truth is in the open market. Everybody knows what the truth is. The attitude of some government personnel cannot distort the truth. Advancing flimsy excuses will not help anybody. There is no moral justification for anybody to encourage this festering insecurity in Nigeria. In the first place, the technological space, the digital space, is like a free space. Everybody can access it, and it's been globalized. Starlink or not Starlink, or trying to advance any excuse is not true. If you listen to the current minister, the newly appointed Minister of Defense, and if you look at his pedigree and the level of integrity he has earned, from his years of service, you know that he's a man who talks from the background of experience. And that we all know that the digital space does not belong, even where you have, people can even hack. There is always a back end to everything people do. So Nigeria as a nation is a signatory to so many international conventions. And we can demand, as a matter of national security, for them to give us what we need. Otherwise, we equally have right to accuse and sue those people of being complicit in the current situation in Nigeria. So for us, there is no such excuse. I don't see such as an excuse. I see it as complicity and people trying to justify what they have been able to sustain. But it's a disgrace to this nation, because the primary responsibility of any government should be to provide security for lives as well as the properties of Nigerians in this country. So anything short of that amounts to failure. So I'm sure that he talking might not be, I wouldn't want anybody to take him serious from this perspective. Every time you open your mouth to talk, whether you are conscious of it or not, you are giving out what you have. And people judge you and assess you on the basis of all that you give each time you have the opportunity to so do. So for me, technology will only but help Nigeria. And we should be real. There's a lack of patriotism on the part of those most of the people who are politically opportune to work within the circle of governance in this country. And it's a sorry day and a very pitiable situation. But Nigerians must rise up to demand for accountability, and that we equally have right to insist that when we find out that certain persons are not working in the best interest of this country, we should rise up collectively against the sustainability of such a character in governance.
Okay, let's look at the Chief of Defense, the Minister of Defense, and some things that he said before we go to, of course, what the Katsina governor is saying about the fact that they're having peace deals with the bandits. Before we go there, let's look at some of the things that the Minister of Defense had said. He recently actually said, came out to say that he's going to do, after he was really confirmed, he was going to do a lot to ensure that this becomes a thing of the past. Do you really think, I'm on you, Lake here. Do you think that this is just talk? And what do you make of some of the statement that he has made? Do you really see him going out of his way or going out of, to do all of this?
Fortunately, Christopher Musa is somebody I know too well. We have been close a little bit, and I can tell you for sure how passionate he is when it comes to his job. I can tell you that if allowed to perform or discharge his duty, he will spell wonders into place within the shortest possible time. The problem is politicizing military operations. If he is allowed to work, I know he has that capacity, and I can vote for him, even from this end. But when you are being pulled into a choiceless angle where you are not being allowed to discharge your duty, that's where I oftentimes advise people, rather than destroy your hard-earned reputation and the trust you have enjoyed from those who have been privileged to meet you, you just resign from that position. But I can tell you, based on personal understanding of who Christopher Musa is, that he is like a square peg in a square hole. And I'm sure that he means what he is saying, and Nigerians should take him serious. But we should equally pray for him because he's a very determined person. In fact, he is uncommonly determined when it comes to the pursuit of his professional goals. So I believe that the political class will leave him alone and allow him access to materials and all that is required for him to discharge the responsibility of his new office. And I'm sure that that will be a plus for the Nigerian government.
Okay, thank you. Let me get back to the studio. Mr. Elvis, I was going to call you Dr. Elvis. Okay, so, you know, one of the things Lekia said was about will he be allowed to do what he needs to do? You also told that line. Do you think that there's this thing about not being given the chance or not being given the opportunity to fly as high as they would actually want to? Is that why we're still here as a nation?
Yeah, that depends on the president who appointed him. If President Tinubu actually, remember the toga of his office, the president and the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, and he has appointed somebody that Nigerians so believe in that he will be able to do the job, then the honors lies that Tinubu should actually assist him in getting whatever he needs to make that office function and be able to discharge this responsibility to the best interest of Nigerians. If there is any lacuna, hindering his discharge of the office, it means it's coming from the presidency. It's the president himself that Nigerians will be held responsible. Because you can't give somebody a job as technical, as volatile, and as important as it is now, considering the present situation we are now in terms of insecurity. And again, not giving him the facilities to be able to enforce, the responsibility of that office as expected. So if there is anything that is lacking, there is nobody in Nigeria that is more than the president of Nigeria. So no, he cannot tell Nigerians now that, the National Assembly are the one that are sitting on General Musa's performance as Minister of Defense, or there's no other arm. He's the one that appointed him. Everything he needs, let him give him the free hands. Because this man has been there all through. He was theater commander before he became a chief of defense staff, and now he has been made Minister of Defense. He has been an operational person. Then now he's now going to be functioning as a policy maker and all that. So most of the things he has said when he was chief of defense staff, whom his office cannot finance, at least by now he will have the opportunity now that as defense minister, he has a budget that he's going to defend before the National Assembly and all that. But you also look at it that for the past 4 or 5 years now, Nigeria budget has always been predicated, defense has always been taking the highest chunk. So now, some of these things he mentioned, like fencing the border, like technology and all these things, like even went as far as saying that most of the insurgency is not just all about kinetic alone, that we should also be talking on non-kinetic, that there are so many ungoverned spaces which have never felt the impact of government in Nigeria, which means infrastructures and others are also lacking in some places, which have also made it difficult for them to actually carry out their job. These are some of the opportunities now he has now to actually also liaise with some other ministers now in the same platform with him and say, okay, I have this problem in my ministry, and I know too well that this is your ministry, like Ministry of Works. If there are some areas that need to be opened up, why don't you assist so that my people, I cannot be able to give orders to the operation arm of the armed forces to say, now this place is open up. What is holding you? So if there is anything that is hindering General Musa to perform as expected, hold the president responsible. He picked him, and he must give him all the tools, all the facilities, and all the encouragement that he needs to be successful, because Nigerians are watching the success of General Musa. General Musa must not come back and tell Nigerian stories at the end of his tenure. Because what Nigeria would not like to hear is that, I was head down. If you are head down and you see what you need, you are not getting it, resign and let Nigerians know that this is the reason why I'm resigning. But if you know that you have given all that you need for that office, discharge it responsibly. Let Nigeria begin to see the effect of your office positively to Nigerians, because Nigerians want to go back to their respective businesses. Nigerians want to travel without going to churches to go and be doing fasting and prayer before you visit your village. So we want to be free as we were before this terrorism came on board.
Yeah, really, like you said, Nigerians are really hoping on so much. We're really hoping on so much. Charlie, looks like, and that's one of the things he said also, that Minister of Defense, that, he knows that Nigerians have high expectations about him. And, well, like you said, we hope that Nigerians hope that he's going to
discharge. Nena, this is one of the appointments Tinubu has made. President Tinubu has made, and Nigerians, almost every Nigerian applauded it. This man's CV was everywhere on the net. Everybody was visiting it, going to take a look at his CV, and you see the overwhelming acceptance Nigerians gave to his appointment. So that's why I'm saying that if there is anything that is going to hinder him from not being able to discharge as expected, he should quickly resign and drop it, so that Nigerians will know he wanted to work. Some other government may still come in future who say somebody of this nature has a good CV. Not that you go and be complacent with them at the end of the day, you now start giving us excuses. If there's anything that is going to hinder you from getting your duties, effectively discharged, as Nigerians have welcomed you, Nigerians have supported this your appointment and all that, then let Nigerians know as well.
Talking about Nigerians supporting his appointment, I actually heard someone say yesterday, actually on the show, and I think I want you to chime in on that he actually feels that the Minister of Defense, that President Tinubu should have made him, or he should be better as the NSA and the Minister of Defense. Charlie, looking at the fact that the NSA is, as in his position as a police officer before he became a political appointee, that it looks like he's like a junior, Charlie, the rank of a lieutenant general, and some of these high-ranking officials or officers might just see it as insubordination. No, they're not insubordination in quote, but they might all look at it like, this man is too, on a normal day, why should he even be in this, our caucus, having this, why should he even be? And I know there are calls for his removal. Though some persons are saying, no, it should not be removed. Some people are saying that position is supposed to be held by an ex-soldier. And the person who my guest yesterday was actually saying that the ex-CDS should have been very perfect for the NSA job.
Well, I don't really see so, Nena, because this is a collaborative thing. There is no specific office that can fight insecurity alone. It's a collaboration. All of them are going to work in harmony to be able to achieve what we are looking for. If you look at the NSA, Mr. Arubadu, he is an intelligent officer. Most of these things we are talking about, it's not all about going to the field. If you go to the field without appropriate planning, you are still going to fail. If now General Musa has also been appointed now as the Minister for Defense, both of them are coming from that angle of intelligence, and they've been in the field and they know what is expected. And they all have history, a very long history of the insurgencies that have plagued Nigeria for 16 years now. They have the history. It's for now for them to harmonize themselves and work together and bring every other persons that they feel their office is connecting to be able to get to the root cause and nip it. You understand? This is not a matter of, this is not a time to come and be saying, oh, I'm senior to you in rank. Oh, my office is bigger than your office. What Nigerians are expecting is that let the job be done. If the job is done, first of all, President Tinubu will take the glory. Oh, it was in Tinubu's government that the insurgency, the terrorism in Nigeria that almost tore this country apart got settled. Then everybody will now begin to look at the role that were played by every aide and minister that work under Tinubu's government. All of them will take the glory. So this is not even the time to be saying, oh, he's a policeman and this one is a military. No. We are not talking about seniority and rank here. We are talking about let the job be done and get the job done and let Nigeria be able to go back to where we were before this terrorism came on board.
Okay, and let me get our virtual guest, chime into this discussion. I don't know if you want to lend your voice to this particular question, about, like I said, a guest said that he feels that the Minister of Defense is better off being in the office of the NSA. Do you think that should be the case?
No. And I know him, he would not even be thinking in that direction or along that line. For anybody who does so, it will amount to class arrogance. I'll tell you of a truth. There is always synergy required for you to achieve when it comes to security business. And it is always intelligence driven. And it is on the basis of collaboration that you achieve the best. But why we have suffered over the years has been as a result of the absence of trust, mutual trust between sister security organizations. Like you talk about the police, junior, if Ribado were to be serving till now, there's every tendency that from AIG, he ought to have been IGP too. So it's not about rank. It's all about understanding. It's all about national service. It's all about understanding the responsibility of their office and being willing and determined to discharge those responsibilities without any sense of inferiority. It's about service to the nation. The nation is number one. And so if Nigeria has been placed ahead of all, these people will be one of the finest of pair. And I can tell you, we know what the kind of sting Ribado pulled while he was there as the anti-graft agency boss. We also saw what he did even as a policeman, how a man of impeccable character. And outside of the force, he has continued to command some level of influence and have been able to earn the trust of most Nigerians. And when it comes to Christopher Musa, this is an exceptionally excellent personality that I believed for the first time, nobody can fault Tinubu on this appointment. Even when the National Assembly tried to subject him to some rigorous process, say you must go through, not as agreeing to the take a bow tradition, he still lived up to the expectation of many. So I don't really think there's any rift. He's going to be one of the best pair, and I urge them to work together in the best interest of our dear country and to put this menace behind us permanently. And that, like my brother said in the studio there, it will be to the credit of the Commander-in-Chief of the Armed Forces.
Okay, one of the things that I read while I was giving the background to the story, the Katsina State Governor has actually commended some communities in Katsina of having peace deals with bandits. He actually said that the peace deals are working. What do you make of this commendation by a sitting governor?
If not for the fact that as a governor he is enjoying some level of immunity, he should be investigated. It should be investigated. And whether anybody likes it or not, you expect children of a woman who was raped, who is a victim of rape by armed robbers. They come to your house, rape your mom, and the police will now come in to say, please, let there be an understanding, there should be no more war. I know that's a bad story. There should be the place of justice. What the governor would have said is that, look, let the people be vigilant and work with the federal might. They work with the agenda of the federal government, and encourage the likes of Christopher Musa, who is coming to do his work now, and the National Security Advisor, as well as all the security agencies in this country, to ensure that we root out this banditry. That banditry is being rooted out of the country. You cannot be pacifying evil. You can't be treating it with kid gloves. There are some sort of unhealthy conspiracies that have made this thing to flourish. And when people stop talking about it, or you pretend as if you're not saying it, or you turn your eyes, that is where this complicity comes in. And no governor who understands his responsibility as governor, or who is what is onion, should say what the governor of Katsina State have just said, or encouraging people to go into alliances, agreement, and peace. What kind of peace deal is that?
Okay.
It's
okay. Are you okay? Let me go to the studios. It's looking at the screen in the confirmation. I keep going back to it because, of course, it's very recent. As the Minister of Defense, while it was being screened, one of the things he talked about was community resilience and how that there's a need for communities, to be able to build capacity of the locals themselves, and for them to be the first responders. You hear someone say this, and then on the other hand, you hear a governor, a sitting governor, applaud his community for having peace deals with bandits. Putting this side by side just looks like they are just two different opposite ends. What do you make of all of this peace deal? Should we actually be having dialogue with bandits? Is it a sustainable policy? Or should we even be having something like that? Having peace deals with bandits?
I mean, it is the failure of the government that a sitting governor will come and be telling handicapped communities to now begin to make peace with bandits. It's the failure of the government. Nena, ask me, what kind of peace is the community making with these bandits? This bandit comes and give them conditions. You pay tax to them. You do this. When it is harvest period, you harvest your crop. Some part of it will go. Is that peace deal or slavery? In a country where we still have a functional government, another government and some other miscreants are coming to give people in that same country some conditions that you must serve them. That means the government failed them. The government disappointed them. So for a sitting governor, Dick Orada to go to communities and be selling that means he's selling the prowess of the insurgents, the terrorists. He's telling them, oh, because we are failed and you people now came with an alternative for you to survive, and it's a good one. It is the failure of the government for a sitting governor to go to communities and now be telling communities you are doing well for making peace. Israel never made peace with Hamas. That's to tell a good example. When Osama bin Laden bombed America 9/11, America never made peace. America went to the extent of smoking him out where he was hiding. That's how to treat an enemy. These bandits, these terrorists, whatever name they call them, are enemies. No government must make sugarcoat it in such a way that, oh, you are doing well because you are now making peace. That government is a failed government. Dick Orada has disappointed and failed the people of Castina for making such statements. Is it because he sits in the causerie of his office and he doesn't know what the people are going through? People go to farm and farm throughout the year. And at the harvest season, they cannot go and harvest. Because when they go to harvest, they'll be kidnapped and they don't have the money to pay the ransom. What they labored all through the year is wasted. Then somebody is coming to now placate them that you are making peace, you are doing a good job. Because they disappointed and failed them. That's not a responsible government, Nena. I don't even want to go there. What General Musa was saying is, oh, they are the first rank in whatever in this insurgent. It's just like if you say something, they say if you say something, say something. If you see something, say something. If you notice some kind of unusual movement, or you have an intel, quickly allow those people that will be of help, that will be able to curtail it. That's what it's not. These people don't have arms. They can't fight these people that are so sophisticatedly armed. So, but their eyes should be on ground. There could be some movement that you are suspicious that, oh, this movement, what is this movement all about? Quickly allow those people that will be able to rescue the situation. If those people failed, like the governor is preaching now, because they have failed Nigerians severally, that's when when I say, oh, Nigerian government has actually brought us to where we are now. And that's what the governor is towing his line on. The governor that says that, he has disappointed his people.
You know, when you hear things like this, and of course, one of the things, Matawale, a video came up recent this week about Matawale, talking, of course, not a new video, but that is the stance. If someone as prominent as that, when he even made that statement, I'm sure he was still the governor, of Zamfara State. And he's saying that all bandits are not criminals. Yes. And that, when the community gets them upset, and when you hear things like this, you begin to wonder, like, what kind of statement is this? Why would they be making statements like this, especially when we have things like this? Well, let me come to you, Lekia. Are peace deals, of course, in some states that we have, contradicting the federal government's one banditry agenda? We hear the government saying no negotiation policy, all these things. And then we hear some states, of course, we just heard a state governor applauding peace deals. Isn't this a contradicting the federal government's one banditry?
Not contradictory, but only revealing the forces that have preserved, nurtured, and sustained banditry over the years. And if the investigators are interested in getting to the root cause of banditry, opportunities like this, even if the man enjoys some level of immunity, he should be put under watch. The governor of Katsina State should be put under surveillance, because in his state we have seen the havoc of banditry. We've witnessed what has happened in that state, and that his failure to have provided security and ensuring the security of lives and property in Zamfara under the reign of banditry and violence may have been as a result of his being complicit. May have been. You must hear me very correctly. So if the government looks into it, if the security agencies look into it, they will get to the root of it and come up with the truth. But another vista that this is pointing to in all that is happening, particularly with this comment he made, is that it is also possible that most of the politicians who use these forces, these dark forces, these elements to win and maneuver their way or to sustain their grip on power, undermine the public interest in preference to their personal and selfish interests, which is not good. You must not look at the aura of power, how you're enjoying it, and allow all of that to make you a conqueror of the people's will and a manager of the commonwealth of the people. And so because of what is at your disposal, the security of the people, the lives of the people no longer come. Encouraging banditry or any form of peace deal under the circumstance is evil. And Nigerians should be mindful of the governor of Zamfara State. And I expect the security agencies who know what they are to do, what they ought to do, to put him under watch.
Okay, the governor of Katsina State, I'm sure that was a mistake that you wanted to say the governor of Katsina State and not the governor of Zamfara State.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yes, it's the error of the leaves.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to the next issue. We're moving on now to politics. The Labour Party's presidential candidate in the 2023 election, Peter Obi, has criticized the distribution of vehicles as part of campaign activities. Obi describes such gestures as misplacement of priorities, arguing that Nigeria needs leaders who invest in healthcare, education, and poverty reduction, not political showmanship. He added that while many citizens are battling hunger and joblessness, politicians are flaunting wealth instead of demonstrating responsible governance. Peter Obi further stated that Nigerians deserve leadership grounded in empathy, prudence, and accountability. Let me come to you, Mr. Elvis. What was your reaction when you saw those vehicles being brandished on air?
Nena, what it simply means that what you and I are crying and, Nigerians at large is crying all over. It's not what is happening within the presidency and all their agents, What they are interested in is how to get to power back in 2027. That's why you see, until America reminded us that this nation is completely dead as far as security is concerned, that's when you see that this little effort is coming up. But in spite of that, you can still see that the president is not even talking about how to concretize this one that we are believing that he has started. He's talking about how to get himself back to the office in 2027. At this time, one would have expected that there is always a period of mourning. Even when something happens, say this period of mourning. Why don't we also declare this period like we are in such a mourning state that, okay, let us put everything together. There's still time for you to talk of campaign. Why will you not be, if I'm bringing even one state governor to now be the ambassador of this new move? And then the governor is practically domiciled in Abuja, not even talking about what is going on in his state. And his state insecurity in his state is also very high. So a situation like this to tell you that everything Peter Obi has been talking about, that Nigerian leaders are not, they are not sympathetic to our plight. They are so adamant to what goes on with Nigeria is what he has just done. At this time, one would have expected that no matter what the presidential should be talking about now is how do we get out of this? Nigerians will even applaud him better if in another 3-6 months from now, we see that the insurgency, this terrorism has reduced. Nigeria will applaud him. He does not even need to start spending all this money to start buying vehicles for people to now begin to move around. Nigerians will naturally say, oh, 6 months, for the past 6 months, insurgency, terrorism has reduced. This government deserves to come back. Why don't you even leave your choice to the people? Why must you impose yourself on the people, even when the people are not happy with what you are doing? Now he has just soiled the little he has been trying to put in place. Now he just soiled it. When I saw those shenanigans and all those fanfare they are doing on top of the situation where Nigerians are mourning, almost 300 children are still in the bush in Niger State. We saw the Kwara State that happened after the release of the Iruku. Another strike came to Iruku. All those ones are still in the bush. then you are having the guts to say the best thing you can give to Nigeria now is how to become get an ambassador for you to come back to power in 2027. It shares a lot of insensitivity on the part of Nigerians that the government don't show it at all. It underscores the fact that every effort they have made now, pretending to be making anyway, that, oh, yes, we are where we want to make sure that we secure Nigeria. Nigeria go is completely zero. They are interested in coming back more than securing you and I.
Okay, let's come to you, Alekia. Would you say that the president is more concerned about the second-term agenda than on governance?
So, I won't say so. And this is my reason. I won't say so, and this is my reason. Hello, are you with me?
Yes, you can go ahead.
Okay. There is no politician that would not be interested in a comeback bid. But to say he is more concerned now with 20 more than this, no, I won't say so. One thing is clear. The politicians are always interest-driven. What you see going on with the renewed hope thing is a product of excitement, not maturity. A lot of people who had stayed out of power, who were probably corrupt in the past, all of them may be thinking of a way of getting to the heart of the man who is on the saddle at the moment. You'll be surprised that most of those vehicles and funds are coming from very corrupt class in order to be excused from facing the consequences of their deeds. And most of them are even finding their way into even gaining political relevance by getting juicy appointment. You look at the list of ambassadorial lists, those who made the ambassadorial list, and it will tell you one clear fact, that people are juggling, they are trying to get back to the mainstream of governance. Anytime you are out of governance, you become a critic of the administration that is in power. But anytime you are within, you find yourself a defender of that same administration because of what we call table manners. When you are eating, you don't talk against that table. The system that is feeding you, you don't criticize. So it's generally an attitude that you cannot separate one from the other. We never saw a Peter Obi turning down on gifts and supports while he was running for president under the Labour Party. I'm not sure if he gets as much as they are bringing to Tinubu now, he will complain. But we know him as a prudent administrator while he was governor of his state. And he did very well in terms of managing. But yeah, I see what he said as an advice, that people should be more concerned about the issue of security, not just talking about whatever they are doing. Is a general attitude. Okay,
permit me to come in here. You're saying that you're saying that it is normal for them to want to do this, but don't you think that this is the wrong time for this to be done? Surely looking at how terrible our security is. We have 2026 is still there. The elections is going to come up in 2027, and there's still enough time. Don't you think that there's still enough time for all of this? Why not even at this time when there's so much insecurity happening in the nation? Don't you think so?
I agree with you. We are not saying anything different. But to say that it's clearly an agenda of the man on the saddle, no. There are people around the presidency who probably, are trying to woo some people into the system in order to enable them get positions in the coming administration, since the House is already full now, as of today. So all I'm trying to say is that that is not something that is peculiar to this government that is in power. It is a general attitude within the political class. They are never stable. That's not to say that I'm endorsing that action. No. No sensitive person in my own rank and within my own class of reasoning will endorse any government that will veer away from an issue that is as sensitive as national security to be talking about an election. No, there's always a right time and a proper season for all of that.
Thank you for that clarification. You know, talking about instability, like you mentioned, or should I say stability, you said many politicians are not stable. So talking about that, political tensions have intensified in Rivers State. And of course, that is the state where you are. As the Speaker of the House of Assembly, Matia Mawuli and 16 other lawmakers officially defected from the People's Democratic Party. I'm sure you know the story already. Because of time, what do you make of this defection?
Well, if you look at the scenario now and what surrounded their first defection, the scenario is different. You know, it's unfortunate that then there wasn't, I never really saw anything that should have ordinarily warranted their defection at that time because the party was united. But you agree with me that today, PDP is standing on pseudo feet. They are standing on false feet, and they are not stable. So if you look at the Constitution and the provisions of the Constitution, under the circumstance, they are allowed because they want to be stable. They also want to get back to power when it comes to 2027. There's a general saying that every politician, particularly those who are elected, are always thinking of the next election and not just considering the weight of their responsibility when it comes to what is being expected of them constitutionally as duties. They fail on that mostly, and they will be looking at the next election. That's why you see that corruption has become a scientific process within the political class. And they do everything to get so much that they can get money to buy people and buy votes. Why do you think vote buying is important, has become a factor in Nigerian politics? All of these issues. So for me, today, if Martins Amehule and co decides to leave as they have just done, I won't say 18 because I really don't see the PDP house as united. There are issues everywhere. And so they also have a right to navigate in the direction of their interests and conviction as politicians, you know. But behind all of that, people could speculate, you can think in any direction. But I don't work with assumptions, and I also don't want to be in that class that will presume that this must have been as a result of this. I want people to be judged on the basis of their action. Let's look at the circumstances surrounding this current defection and allow that to happen. If it's their matter of right, do they have the right to defect today? Yes, because the PDP is not in order.
All right, thank you. Let's quickly get to Mr. Elvis to get to talk about this. You know, you said something about the defection when they can only defect when PDP is actually not, everybody knows that they're in crisis. But Rivers PDP is not in crisis, actually. Do you really think that they should, in 1 minute, because we're almost, we're almost rounding up, what do you make of this?
Let me just quickly help out. Yes, it's their right to defect. The law says national body of the party. National body have just had a convention, and that convention, they've gotten leadership. And the leaders are actually settling down. This defection that came up in Rivers State today is just no news to me. It has been there. So they just look for a time like today to just tell the world. It has always been like robbing Peter to pay Paul. It's no news as far as I'm concerned. We already saw the handwriting on the wall ever since. So the pronouncement or the announcement today made no difference from what we have already known and what we have been anticipating and what eventually played out today. That's just
okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, Elvis Alimehele, for being here with us. And then thank you very much, Lekia Christian, as well, for being a part of us all the way from Port Harcourt. And that's all for today's episode of The Issues Explored, the challenges facing Nigeria's politics and governance. Thank you so much for joining us. Don't forget to tune in next time for more in-depth analysis and discussion. Follow us on social media to stay up to date on the latest news and insight. Until next time, stay informed. I am Nnenna Ndomdioto. This has been The Issues on Voice of the People Television, where the future faces forward. Please don't forget to tune in for Hashtag with Vivian and Ikechukwu by 8 p.m. Don't go away.
This is Health Check, your weekly guide to better living, smarter choices, and trusted answers. From everyday wellness to urgent health issues, we've got you covered. Health Check, only on Voice of the People television, where your health has a voice.
What happens in the hush behind hangar doors? Who signs the papers that gamble with lives? Which truths were grounded before they even ever had wings? If you've ever buckled a seatbelt at 30,000 feet, if you've ever stared out of that tiny window and wondered who's really in control of the skies, it isn't just flight, it's power, it's politics, it's pressure sealed in steel. We're peeling back the clouds from runway risks to sky-high secrets. We're diving deep where most dare not to look. Aviation Scope, every Sunday at 7 p.m. only on Voice of the People TV. We don't just report, we reveal. We don't just ask, we uncover. Because when it comes to the skies, ignorance is turbulence. Aviation Scope, the sky isn't the limit, it's just the beginning.
Join us as we drive into the world of politics through insightful interviews with prominent political figures